Good evening, students. Welcome to the second session of Transformer, the Module 3 of Basic Electrical Engineering ESEE 101. The basic conception of transformer and what is transformer, that concept already had been discussed in first session. So in this session, you are going to learn about the construction of transformer, what is ideal transformer, what is distribution and power transformer, the concept of transformation ratio, and then we will solve some numerical. Okay, and at the last I will give you some assignments for you to solve at home. Okay, but before going to today's topic, let us check whether you solved the previous session's assignment correctly or not. The question was, the core of a single phase 3300 440 volt 50 hertz transformer is of square section and each side being 1.40 millimeter. If the maximum flux density of the core is not exceeding the 1 Tesla, determine the number of turns required for each winding. Now, what is flux? Flux is the multiplication of flux density into area, right? Now, flux density value, that means B, is already given. Area is capital A and flux is phi. Okay. Now, the area value is given, that is 1.40 millimeter into 1.40 millimeter. Why? Because the cross section is of square type. So whatever be the length, that will be the equal to the width. So the area will be 140 into 10 to the power minus 3 whole square. So all total the value will be 0.0196 Weber. Clear? Now let N1 and N2 be the number of turns in the primary and secondary winding respectively. Okay. So E1 value is already given. This is your E1. This is our E2. This is our primary. This is secondary. Right. So E1 value is 3300. That means 4.44 into 0.0196 into 50 into N1. So here N1 value you can calculate and see the value is 758.4, but the number of turn cannot be in point, so it will be of full turn, that means 759 or 758. Here one relation is given. The relation is the maximum flux density in the core is not exceeded 1 Tesla. That means maximum value, this maximum value is 1 Tesla. So we will write it like this. So if the turn is 759, then the B value will be more than 1. Okay. So actual relating to the question, N1 value will be 759. Okay, because if the N1 value is 759, then the flux density will be less than 1, right? Okay. Now N2 equals to N1 into E2 by E1, right? Because E1 by N1 equals to E2 by N2. Here, so putting all this value, you will get the value of N2. Again, this N2 cannot be 101 because if N2 is 101, the flux density will not will be more than 1 Tesla. So N2 value is 102. So the consideration of these values for N1 between 758 and 759, which one is the correct? You have to take consideration this B value. Okay. Now let's go to the today's topic. First is construction of the transformer. A single phase transformer consists of primary and secondary winding placed in a magnetic core. Here you can see this is the magnetic core, okay, and outside is called yoke, okay, and here first low voltage winding is given, and then around it high voltage winding is given. Similarly, on the other side also, first low voltage winding is given, then high voltage winding is given. Okay, and in between low voltage and high voltage, there will be what? Insulation. Fine. Now, the magnetic core is a stack of thin silicon steel laminations. Here you can see the number of silicon steels. Those are bunched together and form the core. Okay, that is the thin silicon steel laminations. All these thin single plates are called lamina. Okay, that is called CRGO steel. The laminations reduce the eddy current loss and silicon steel reduces the hysteresis loss. There are two general types of transformer. First is core type, next one is shell type. A single phase core type transformer consists of two core, upper and bottom yoke of the magnetic frame. The primary and secondary coils are split into two parts. Half of the turns of the primary and secondary are placed on each core. Okay. Now, a three-phase core type transformer consists of a minimum 3 cores, each provided with primary and secondary coils of each phase. Here in this slide, I haven't told you this CRGO full form. Okay, in next session you have to tell me what is the full form of CRGO steel. In placement during the campusing interview, if you are from core background, then most of the times they ask that what is the full form of CRGO. Okay, so find it and tell me in the next session, or I will give you the answer. Okay, now first is the core type transformer. These are the core type transformer. This is the cross section. Here you can see that low voltage winding is first wound, around it high voltage winding. This is for primary, and similarly for the other side also. Generally, circular coils are used in the core type transformer, which indicate theoretically that a circular core should be used. It is very complicated to manufacture a circular core. As a result, a stepped core is generally used, because in circular core is difficult to manufacture. So this type of core configuration is normally used. Okay. This type of configuration is used in most of the cases. Okay. However, for small transformers, a rectangular or square core can be used. A schematic diagram showing the magnetic frame and the windings of the core for a single phase core type transformer. Okay. So here you can see the high voltage and low voltage winding, and in between the windings there is a lamination. Okay. Now why this lamination is used? The lamination is used to reduce the eddy current loss. Okay. We will discuss this eddy current loss later. Next type of transformer is shell type of transformer. Here you can see that all the windings are within the yoke. It is called shell type. But in core type, the windings are outside. Okay. Now, a single phase shell type transformer consists of a magnetic frame with a central core that is called limb and two side cores completing the path of the magnetic flux. The primary and secondary coils windings are placed on the central core in particular configuration as shown. Such an arrangement forms the shell of an iron around the copper. The central leg flux phi is divided at the yoke, that is pi by 2 towards each leg side. That means like this. This is your phi by 2 and this is the phi by 2. So all total maximum flux to the center is phi. Okay, this is the maximum. Now, as the flux in the section of the yoke, the side core is only half the cross section of the yoke and side core is approximately half the section of the central limb. On-site repairment is more easy in a core type transformer, whereas robustness is more in shell type. In this kind of setting, this core type transformer, you can see that the circulation of flux is like this. So flux is more. So the voltage generation or EMF generation in core type transformer is comparatively more than shell type transformer. Okay, this is the rectangular form and this is the distributed form in a core. Okay, now what is the laminated core? Cores are designed not to have current in it, but still there is a leakage current, or that is called eddy current, present in it. To minimize this eddy current, the cores are laminated because due to the current, square of the current is directly proportional with the loss, right? So to reduce the eddy current loss, the laminated core is used. Now this is EI kind of lamination. This is double E lamination. This one is LL lamination and UI lamination. So different kinds of lamination is used for different kind of transformer. For shell type, this EI and EE. For core type, LL and UI. Another kind of lamination is also formed, that looks like this F kind of, okay, this, and it will look like here is the another F. Okay, so these two F kind of laminations in inverted order, they are connected. Okay, now it is the comparative study of core type and shell type. In the core type transformer, windings surround a considerable part of steel core, whereas in shell type, the steel core surrounds a major part of the winding. Hence, for a given output and voltage rating, the shell type transformer requires more iron but less conductor material than core type transformer. Okay. In a core type, the transformer has a two-legged core, and in shell type, the transformer has a three-legged core. You had already seen it, that here it is three-legged, okay, but here it is two-legged, right? In case of single-phase transformer, hence the core type flux has a single path around the legs, and in shell type the flux flows to the different paths and also the values getting halved. In core type transformer, concentric coils are used, whereas in shell type interleaved or sandwiched coils are used. Clear? Now, what is ideal transformer? An ideal transformer is an imaginary transformer studied to understand the concept. It is little bit different from the practical kind of transformer. Okay, like in practical transformer, there are losses, there are many kind of issues. Okay, but in ideal transformer, we neglect those losses. We take very many assumptions. Okay, so what are the assumptions? An ideal transformer possesses the following characteristics. So these are the characteristics of ideal transformers. The core of the transformer is highly permeable so that it requires very small magnetomotive force to set up the flux in the core. Its leakage flux is zero. That is, the entire flux is confined to the core and links with both the windings. That is number 2. Previous is number 1. What is the third assumption? The resistance of the primary and secondary winding is negligible. But this doesn't happen for practical type of transformer. We have to consider the resistance and inductance of the wires of the wound coil, right? Now, the fourth assumption is there are no losses due to resistance, hysteresis and eddy current, as I said earlier. The fifth assumption is for an ideal transformer, the demagnetizing MMF of the secondary winding is equal to the magnitude and opposite in polarity to the magnetizing MMF of the primary winding. Also, the apparent power drawn from the primary is equal to the apparent power transferred to the secondary. But in practical case, this doesn't happen. Whatever power is fed in the primary, that power we never receive from the secondary. There will be some losses. The losses are core losses that consisted of hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. And also, since the copper coils are used to wound, to make the turns, so copper loss will be there. So whatever power we receive for practical transformer, that is less than the primary side power. Okay. So for ideal transformer, we consider that this I1N1 equals to I2N2. That means the MMF, the ampere turn, is constant, and the power input V1 I1 equals to the power output V2 I2. Okay. Now, where I1 and I2 are the currents through the primary and secondary winding respectively, and V1, V2 are the voltage across the primary and secondary winding respectively. Hence, the transformer transforms the voltage from one level to another without affecting the power level. So it is matching the definition of the transformer. Now, what is the distribution and power transformer? Distribution transformer. Small step-down transformers up to 500 kVA used to step down the low transmission voltage to distribution voltage or the distribution voltage 11 kV to standard service voltage 440 volt are known as distribution transformer. Thus, these transformers are used to supply power for general purpose. The minimum standard rating is 5 kVA. These transformers remain energized to the line for all the 24 hours of a day, whether they are supplying any kind of load or not. These transformers are normally operating on a varying load during the daytime. Thus, constant losses occur in this kind of transformer for the whole day, and the copper loss are different during the different periods of the day. As such, these transformers should have lower iron losses compared with the full load copper losses. These should have the maximum efficiency nearly at the 50% of the full load. Their efficiency should be measured on the basis of energy, that is the all-day efficiency, okay, which is equal to the ratio of output in kilowatt hour to the input in kilowatt hour during the whole day, that means 24 hours. These transformers have good voltage regulation and are designed for the small value of leakage reactance. Next kind of transformer is power transformer. Transformers with ratings above 500 kVA and used in generating stations and substations for stepping up or stepping down the voltage are called the power transformers. These transformers will be in operation during the load periods and can be disconnected during light load periods. At least one or two should remain in operation during light load periods, also in the substation. Hence, the power transformer should have maximum efficiency at nearly 80% of the full load. These transformers designed to have the considerably greater leakage reactance. For this transformer, the voltage regulation is less important than the current limiting effect of higher leakage reactance. Here, only two kinds of transformers I have discussed. There are other kind of transformers like potential transformer, okay, current transformer, unit transformer, okay, pulse transformer. So there are various types of transformer that are used in the generating stations. All these transformers are different either in their construction, their ratings, their capacity, okay. Now, what is transformation ratio? Let the N1 be the number of turns in the primary winding. Suppose this is the core and in transformer this is our primary and this is our secondary. Here N1 number of turn is there, here N2 number of turn in secondary winding, okay. E1 is the RMS voltage in primary and E2 be the RMS voltage in secondary, right? Now, E1 equals to 4.44 F N1 into phi m that we already discussed in previous session, and E2 equals to 4.44 F N2 into phi m. So their ratio, if we calculate, we will find out that E1 by E2 equals to N1 by N2. Okay. Now, this is called transformation ratio. Okay. Now, the ratio of primary voltage to secondary voltage is same as the ratio of primary winding turns to the secondary winding turns. This N1 by N2 is known as transformation ratio or turns ratio. Usually it is denoted by the word K. By selecting this ratio properly, the transformation can be done from any input voltage to any convenient output voltage. There can be two cases. If N1 is greater than N2, then E2 is less than E1. The transformer is known as the step down transformer. That means K is greater than 1. And if N2 is greater than N1, then E2 is greater than E1. So it is called step up transformer or K less than 1. Now let us again consider a two-winding transformer in the process of transforming the electrical power from one voltage to the other. There occur some losses in the transformer also. These losses are actually very small as compared to the total amount of power handled by the transformer. If we neglect these losses for the time being, we must have the same power or volt ampere in the primary, also in the secondary. And this is the concept of ideal transformer. If I1 and I2 are the currents in the primary and secondary windings of the ideal transformer having no loss, then we can say E1 I1 equals to E2 I2. Okay. Thus, we find that current is transformed in the reverse ratio of the voltage. If a transformer steps up the voltage, it steps down the current. If it steps down the voltage, it will stepping up the current. Clear? Now some numericals. Number 1. A 100 kVA transformer has a primary and secondary turns of 4000 and 1000 respectively, and induced voltage in the secondary is 1000 volt. Now we have to find out the primary volt, the primary and secondary full load current, the secondary current when 100 kilowatt load at 0.8 power factor is connected at the output. Now what is given? kVA rating is given, N1 value is given, N2 value is given, and E2 value is given. So if kVA rating is given, that means what is kVA? Apparent power equals to V into I. In case of primary, this is V1 into I1. So V1 value here, V1 is equals to E1 for ideal transformer, right? And this is also equals to E2 into I2. Clear? Now, the kVA rating is known to us. Primary voltage, is it known? No. The secondary voltage is known to us. So we have to calculate the primary voltage first. Now, how to calculate the primary voltage? From the turns ratio relation, that is E1 equals to N1 by N2 into E2. Then you will find out that E1 value is 4000 volt. Okay. Now, E1 value you already found out. So, what is the full load primary current? Full load primary current is 250 ampere. Just divide the apparent power to the voltage. Okay. Or this is your EMF, right? Now, so what is the secondary full load current? Secondary full load voltage you already know. Okay. So S by E2, it will give you the I2 value, or the I1 value you already know. From the inverse turns ratio relation with current, find out this I2 value. In both ways, you will get the same magnitude of I2. Now, what is the secondary current when 100 kilowatt load at 0.8 power factor is connected at the output? 100 kilowatt at 0.8 power factor. That means this one is active power, and active power, here power factor is given. That means V I cos theta equals to P. Okay, and this is occurring in secondary side, so this will be V2 I2 cos theta 2 equals to P2. Now here V2 is equals to E2. Okay, so what is the value of I2? That is T2 divided by V2 into cos theta 2, right? So putting all those values, you will find out that I2 value is 125 ampere. So it is simple. If you remember this formula, I already discussed this formula in second module, that is in AC circuit. Okay. Now, question number 2. A 200 by 400 volt 50 hertz transformer has a peak flux density of 1.1 Weber per meter square. Okay, in the core, and net area of cross section of the core is 0.02 square millimeter. If the current density in the conductor is 3 ampere per millimeter square and the conductor diameter of the primary coil is 3 millimeter, determine the kVA rating of the transformer and the number of primary and the secondary turns. So determine the kVA rating, that means you have to find out this S value, number of primary and secondary turns, that means N1 value and N2 value. Okay, so from the data given from the question, diameter of the primary coil is 3 millimeter. So cross section of the primary coil is pi into 3 square by 4 millimeter square. So for total value is 7.068 square millimeter, right? Because pi d square by 4. This is the formula for cross section. Now current density value is 3 ampere per meter square. So cross sectional area you already found out. So what is the current in the primary coil? Multiplication of 7.062 and 3. So all total it will give you the current in the primary coil is 21.204 ampere. Okay, so this value you already calculated. Now what is the kVA rating? Do you know the voltage rating? It is known. So if you calculate, this is actually 200. Okay, so primary voltage is 200 and secondary voltage is 400. So if there is any question that what kind of transformer it is, since it is increasing the voltage, so it is called step up transformer. Okay, now E1 equals to 4.44 B into A into F into N, because this B into A is equals to 5. So put all the values, you will calculate the unknown N1. So N1 equals to 41. Okay, the full digit value you have to take. Now taking this N1 value as 41, calculate the N2 value from the turns ratio equation. So N2 equals to E2 by E1 into N1. That means value is 82. So all the values you have calculated. So kVA rating first done. Then the number of primary. This is the number of primary turns and this is the number of secondary turns. Okay. Now is the assignment. What is given? A 25 kVA single phase transformer has 250 turns on the primary and 40 turns in the secondary winding. Now primary is connected to 1500 volt 50 hertz mains Now you have to calculate the primary and secondary currents on full load, secondary EMF and maximum flux in the core. Okay. So what is the primary and secondary current? That means you have to find out I1 and I2, right? And then the secondary EMF, that means E2. Next is maximum flux in the core, that means phi max. Okay, so try to solve it and we will check whether you have done it correctly or not in next session. Okay, so that's for today. Thank you and good night.